Sometimes it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. Today, we're going to be talking about how to effectively converse with the young ladies that you are looking to seduce. What's up, all you good fella fly guys? You know who it is, the cat in the hat, your resident fly guy, your chief architect, Michelangelo of StyleArchitects.com, here to help you redesign your frame of mind when it comes to the seduction story. And today is the seducer's diary. Now, if you are unfamiliar with this aspect of our conversation, I believe that style is just as much about creating your own narrative as it is about creating a love story, a seducer story that you are going to interact with. And it's important for you to understand how to properly engage with the opposite sex respectfully, but also seductively, because it only makes for a better story. So today, we're going to be talking about how to effectively communicate with the young lady that you are looking to seduce. But before we get started, if this is your first time here, welcome. It was a great time for you to be here to start figuring out how seductive language and style can also reinforce the seductive language that you are going to be expressing when you are having a conversation. Now, if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, then all you have to do is go back, review our previous conversations that we've been having all this week. You'll find them right here, and check those out first, and then come back and follow up with this conversation. And if you find this conversation or any of those other conversations beneficial, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love to be a character when it comes to your seductive story. If you have already subscribed, you know I appreciate you. And now all you have is one more thing left to do, and that is hit that notification bell, and that way you will be notified each and every time that new content comes out. Now again, you know that when it comes to Michelangelo, when it comes to style architects, we're always focused on the psychology as well as the style. And last week we talked about the approach anxiety, all the things that start going through your mind before you are making that approach to the young lady. Well, today we're going to talk about the next step. You've already made your approach, you've made your introduction. Now it's a conversation. But it's important to remember that communication is only 5% to 7% verbal. So you want to make sure that your conversation is being expressed in everything that you're doing. There's little nuances and things that a lot of guys do not pay attention to when it comes to you having a conversation that are often rooted in NeuroLinguistic Programming. And if you're not really clear about what that is, I'll drop a link in the bio as well as a link here where you can check out what NeuroLinguistic Programming is. But there are things that you can do non-verbally that will create a better connection. The first thing that you can do is, as you are having this conversation with her, don't talk to her face to face. That oftentimes looks a little bit more confrontational. It's important for a man to remember that, generally speaking, he's going to be bigger and more imposing on a young lady. It's better for you to stand side by side with her and for you guys to look out at whatever you guys are having a conversation about. And that way, it looks like you two are standing side by side, much like a couple would when they're waiting or when they're hanging out, instead of you having a face-to-face type of conversation. The second thing that you want to make sure that you're conversing about is things that are not going to be strictly focused on her. Now, unless this young lady is narcissistic as hell, and I don't know why you would want to deal with that type of young lady in the long run, then she's not going to want to talk specifically about her. Because if she's talking specifically about herself, then that puts a lot of pressure on her for her to think about things and to try to figure out what your motives are. But if you ask her about her day, or you ask her where she's going, if you happen to see her out, or if you're at an event, you just ask her about the event itself, and you start making observations about other people, and they can be lighthearted jabs at people. It doesn't have to be anything serious. Then you take the focus off of her and you put it on the environment and on the situation. And when you do that, it allows her to relax herself, and it will bring down a bit of those guarded walls. Now, again, as a rake, you still want to infuse a bit of some vulgar language, nothing that's going to be ridiculously, disrespectful, or that's going to be tactless. There's a difference between you being rebellious and then you having no sense of decorum in a space. Now, you can say something that's a little racy, that's a little risque, and that may make her blush, and that's okay, because you haven't imposed your will or imposed any type of discomfort on her in that space. You just made her a little mortified or a little embarrassed, at laughing or at responding to that. So that's a good space of imbalance that you want to keep her on her toes. And when you do that, just take it back to something banal so that she doesn't have to think about that too much. Again, bring it back to the environment. The last thing that you want to do is you want to respectfully touch her. So if you reach out and you extend your hand to her, hold her hand for a little bit longer. And matter of fact, hold her hand until she pulls her hand back. That's immediately creating a connection between the two of you. And if you guys are in the middle of conversation, playfully just touch her arm, touch her hand again. What you're looking to do in that space is create a connection simply through the touch. You don't want to hold it there. You don't want to be creepy in that space. You just want to let her know that you are comfortable with touching her. And this will lead to more comfort as you pursue getting to know her more on a physical level. So that's it. Really quick video, but it is imperative for you to start thinking about these things when you are creating levels of seduction. So if you find this information beneficial, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget that we are here every Monday through Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And above all, don't forget to live, love, and create a lifestyle that suits you. See you next time. Peace.